So in the last lecture, we were discussing that what are the commercial forms of structural steel available in the market as a commercial product. So we were discussing, I have told you that these are the forms which are available into the market as structural steel members, which broadly are being used for. If you go through the rolled steel section, that is steel book, so there you will find these type of commercial members available when we design any steel structure. When we design any steel structure, there are basically two things which we find, that is moment of inertia and the section modulus. Moment of inertia, as we know, for a typical rectangular section, it is BD cube by 12. And using that only, you can find out for any T section. These type of, it is easy to find the moment of inertia for these type of sections which are available here. The only thing is that they are having a curved part here. They are not exactly rectangular sections. And although you can find out based upon their geometric properties, you can find out moment of inertia, which is Ix. If we are finding out moment of inertia about x axis, local x axis. So if I convert it, let me try it. Now, if we are if you are trying to find out, if you are trying to find out the moment of inertia about this section, that is, it is written Z here. So if I want to find out IZZ, that will, for this type of rectangular section, it is easy to find out using BD cube by 12. But for the commercial sections where we have curvature at the ends, these are the type of sections it is difficult to find out. So in the steel handbook, the moment of inertia and the section modulus are given. So when we find out the uniformly distributed load, and then we find out moment acting onto the simply supported member, WL square by 8. So when we get the final moment, we simply use the formula P upon A plus minus M by Z, M upon Z. M upon Z, that is the flexural bending behavior, is going to decide its क्रॉस सेक्शन की कौन सा क्रॉस सेक्शन हमें स्टील हैंडबुक में से लेना है. एम अपॉन जेड की एक परमिसिबल वैल्यू है, परमिसिबल सेफ वैल्यू है स्ट्रक्चरल स्टील में. परमिसिबल IS 800, इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड 800, जब आप ओपन करोगे उसके कुछ एक क्लॉज में परमिसिबल स्ट्रेस है. So that permissible stress is the limiting stress for the design of structural steel. And M by Z in bending should remain within that limit. P upon A plus minus M upon Z. P upon A is the axial stress, जो मेंबर में एक्सियली लगता है. M upon Z is the flexural stress, जो बेंडिंग में लगता है. दोनों को जब हम ऐड करते हैं प्लस और माइनस में, so that total stress should remain within the permissible limits. So Z और moment of inertia दोनों values steel handbook में given होती हैं. So these are the values, these are the things which are available into the steel handbook. As you can see here. So these all IZZ, IVV, IUU, IYY all are given into the steel handbook. These are the role sections. Now it varies from company to company. It varies that, as you can see here, that so many options are there. So many options are there. Either you can join, if you can join angle section, you can join two angle sections like this to form a column section. You can combine two channel sections to form a column section. And these type of already casted sections are available. You can combine two channel sections distant apart. You can combine two channel sections distant apart like this from here to here using these type of plates, and this type of staging is possible if you are using it for any tower or any steel water tank. Similarly, you can use 4 different angle sections at 4 corners, then they can be joined using the plate, steel plate. You can use 2 channel sections. Within that, you can use a straight plate to form this type of column section. So these are the variations. These are called as built-up sections. These are called as built-up section. Now their behavior in compression and in tension, they are most of the time they are safe. So they are required to be checked in compression most of the time due to this type of buckling behavior. When you join many systems, see this is called a castellated sections. These castellated sections now this all is a combined outcome of different types of cellular beams over ranges, FC and indoor training facility in Scotland. So stadiums, most of the stadiums are constructed as steel structures, and this is the way out that how they are being constructed. These are hollow steel sections which are available. This picture is showing, as now you can see, this type of elements are also available which are not purely structural steel, and they are also available as pure structural steel members. As you can see into the tabular form, it is given their yield stress, their ultimate tensile stress, and their yield stress is given. Those structural elements of the similar shape which are not structural steel they don't have so much ultimate tensile stress and yield stress. And the use we have discussed the other day in my lecture, that which type of steel is used. Plain carbon steel is used where, low carbon steel is used where, other type of alloy is used where. So we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now if we are coming up to the global level, local level we have discussed, and the combination of small elements or sections make up a combined section to form to be used, such as if we say we want castellated steel beams or trusses. Trusses are of structural steel, but one truss is made up of many small angle members. Then that combination of many small structural steel members make one truss. Then many trusses composed together make one built up section which can support any GI sheet or roof sheet, which can be used in stadium, indoor stadium or outdoor stadium, something like that. Now, similar here in the case, if you there are two types of structural steel. One, as we have discussed just now, trusses. The other type is that we can see in front of us is the bridges. So the members you can see here, if you want to provide a deck slab, if you want to provide a deck slab purely in structural steel, you can assume how much strength that deck slab is going to have, or the deck girder purely in structural steel, running from one end to another, running from one pier to another pier. So how much moment of inertia that particular deck girder is going to having, or how much section modulus that girder is going to have in flexure. These are the uses, and that is why high performance steel has been mentioned here. That is why this high performance steel word has been used here, because 10 to 15 meters span of a bridge cannot be taken care by simple structural steel, regular structural steel Fe415 or Fe500. So for that we need high performance steel which is having ultimate yield stress and ultimate tensile strength quite high. So here we can see, although the values are given here, because you know in reinforcement also it is Fe415. That is a different type of structural steel as compared to your pure structural steel in bridges, which is used as girders. Stainless steel also we have discussed, where chromium comes into picture. 14% of chromium is being added to the steel, and the purpose of the stainless steel is altogether different. What are the advantages of using steel high strength? This is in relation to concrete, masonry and wood. These are basically four materials of construction: wood, masonry, concrete and steel. In the increasing order of strength: wood, masonry, concrete and steel. So steel is having the highest strength, whether it is compression or it is tensile. High ductility, uniformity, distribution of stress or distribution of the load carrying capacity is uniform because it is highly homogeneous material. कंक्रीट में क्या होता है, कंक्रीट में आपका एग्रीगेट है, सैंड है, although you try 100% to maintain the homogeneous behavior, but it is not always 100% possible. But in case of structural steel, it is 99.99% chances are there that it is 100% homogeneous. Uniformity, environment friendly, versatility, prefabrication is possible. It is easy to maintain prefab structures and execute them also. Disadvantages of structural steel. This is important. We should know the disadvantages, because till now in India we are not using structural steel to the level as it is being used outside India. Reason, the main reason is the high cost. Then maintenance cost is again high. Fireproofing cost, susceptibility to buckling, although it is very rare if it is being properly designed. Fatigue is not always dominant where the cyclic load is not coming into picture. It is only possible where the cyclic load is there. Now you are designing for earthquake or for vibration, cyclic vibration, which is not such as in rails in railway line. That type of system lets you to fatigue design. Maintenance costs. Types of steel structure, as we can see, I have already given you the example. This is the most common example. Trusses. The small elements, these angle sections, or sometimes it is pipe sections in a square or rectangular shape, are combined together to form trusses. Now, and many trusses form together to form a built-up steel structure, built-up industrial structure, a garage, a warehouse, a storehouse. These type of structures are built up using these type of column, which is called as stanchions in that case. This is a combination. This is called as raft. This is multiple bay band, and if you are using it for multi-story buildings, that is the nomenclature is same, column and beam. Slab is never used in structural steel. It is always of concrete. Now this is a typical, I will enlarge the size. This is a typical, you can say, industrial shed, which composed of columns also. It is composed of girders also at different levels depending upon the unsupported length. That what is going to be the unsupported length. आपको unsupported length कितना रखना है. अगर आप unsupported आप इसको हटा दोगे, so unsupported length is going to increase. So the cross section or the section of this column is going to change. If you are going to increase the number of members in between with the welding or bolting, that will reduce the effective length where the load transfer mechanism has to be done. So it will reduce the column size. This is the rafter, all in steel. These are most of the time in small angles. These purlins are the all through running horizontal members. These are most of the time in angle sections. And the rafter, this is the rafter which is running from here to here and here to here, is most of the time channel section. Either it is channel section or it is eye girder. So it can resist, this type of shading can resist wind load. So now the cross section, now as it has been written, wind bracing. That this diagonal bracing has been mentioned as wind bracing. It depends that against which type of load you are designing your industrial shed. If you are designing for wind load only, this type of diagonal bracing with an average cross-sectional area will safeguard against the wind load. But if you are designing against earthquake load, then the section is going to increase, because you are doing the structural design against to and fro motion. Earthquake is acting, coming back, then going, hitting the surface again, then coming back, because ground is accelerating. There is an acceleration in the ground. So this is 1 bay, this is 2 bay, this is 3 bay, 1 bay, 2 bay, 3 bay, 1 frame. This is going to be 1 frame. This whole system is going to be 1 frame. This 1 frame is going to take the load of 1 bay, half on each side. Beijing National Stadium. Purely in steel. This type of bridges, Golden Gate, which was constructed approximately 150 years back. Empire State Building, New York, built in 1931. Now you can understand the status of India in steel construction as compared to USA and other Western countries. Even in 1931, they were able to build a structure in steel which is 411-meter tall. This is a typical configuration. This is a typical configuration of a hall which is quite large, because the reason being we don't want in between columns. We require more open space. अगर इस हॉल के बीच में हम ज्यादा नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स कर देंगे तो कारपेट एरिया जो यूज होना है, जो असेंबली यहां पर होनी है, दैट विल बी रिड्यूस्ड. So for such huge assembly halls, we require structural steel sections. That is the most common occupancy uses of structural steel. Now this cannot be done by any other material, neither with wood, nor with masonry, and nor with concrete. It is only possible with structural steel. You can see what is the cross section here. It is so high in moment of inertia. I will again see. You can see it is tapered section. It is increasing at the end. It is a kind of tapered section. It is minimum here and it is maximum here. Similar to the frame structure where beam column joint has got the maximum importance, because all the load is transferred from slab to beam and beam to beam column joint and beam column joint to column and then column to foundation. Same, because the load is going to increase from here onwards. If I draw it, it is going to be something like this. I will draw it using the straight line. So the load is going to be the triangular load increasing from the center. It is going to be minimum here, and it is going to be maximum at the end. And the same load is going to be transferred to the stanchion, steel column beneath. Pre-engineered building for low-rise buildings with eave up to 30 meter. Pre-engineered building, that means it is easy to, as we call in concrete, it is called as precast. Precast means members are already casted in a junkyard and they are assembled at the site. Similar in steel also, we bring it to the site and then we, using the bolting, we assemble them at the site. So it becomes very easy to construct these type of yards or assembly halls in steel structures. These are the other uses of steel structures, that is transmission line towers, steel elevated water tanks. Because of their strength and their behavior in earthquake, behavior in tension is better, because during earthquake the tensile behavior is the most important. This is a simple line diagram explanation how the behavior is there for tension, compression, torsion. So tension, this is going to stretch a member is going to call as tension member. Where we are compressing it downwards, it will be called as compression member. This is simple flexure. I will write it down here. Now, depending upon the boundary conditions, this is torsion, where you can see the rotation here. This is the rotation. When we rotate it, it is mostly in machine parts, shaft of any machine. उसमें vibration होता है. That vibration is most of the time rotatory motion, because all the machine shafts and machines are constructed of structural steel, plain carbon steel, as we have discussed the other day. That in civil engineering domain, it is for use for girders and columns, and in mechanical engineering domain, it is used for machine parts. So there the dominance of the torsion comes into picture. This is a simple cantilever behavior. If you are using any architectural feature, हम कई बार क्या करते हैं, मॉल्स वगैरह रहते हैं, मॉल्स हुआ या अपना रेजिडेंशियल हाउस हुआ, उसके बाहर हम स्टील के कंपोनेंट से उसको आर्किटेक्चरल लुक देते हैं, ब्यूटीफाई करते हैं. बट दे ऑल्सो टेक लोड. देयर सेल्फ वेट विच इज टू मच हाई is also vulnerable in earthquake. So that type of behavior, their fixity at this end, the fixity at this end has to be critically designed. Aesthetics we always have good from structure, but that is then composite construction, which is very, very important. What happened in World Trade Center in 2001? That it was having a composite type of construction. The steel sections failed, whereas the concrete was somehow able to resist the fire-induced temperature rise. Fire-induced temperature rise was so much high that the steel melted at some of the members. And due to that, what happened, the redistribution of the load happened in some of the floors. So that led to the failure of the World Trade Center in 2001. You might go to the case study if you find time. Now this is concrete and this is your steel, pure structural steel member. It can be eye girder, it can be channel section, it can be anything. It can also be a channel section inside concrete. That will give us composite section. So let us go through the conclusions. Also, let us see what we can find out of it. Structural steel has several advantages over other competing materials such as concrete and wood, as I already told you. That related as compared to concrete and wood, which are not safe in compression. Sorry, not safe in tension. If we talk of plain concrete, whereas structural steel is safe in compression as well as in tension as compared to these two materials, along with masonry also. The important properties of structural steel are its ultimate and yield stress. And the ductility, because ductility is important when earthquake load comes into picture. Nowadays, nothing is considered uh, important, or as far as design is concerned, as compared to earthquake. Static design has actually got relevance if it is being executed along with lateral load design also. The yield stress as measured by tension coupons is affected by several factors such as the rate of loading and position from where the test coupons are taken. Now I will be opening the other document. I have shared today in the morning these two documents with you so that you should be able to download it and study it along with me. As I am discussing these contents online, you should also be opening it on your computer screens parallel with me. Yesterday in the class, we have discussed the constituents of the carbon, that is the constituents of iron and steel, how the variation of the carbon decides the category of the structural steel or the category of the steel, whether it is iron, wrought iron, ingot iron, plain carbon steel, low carbon steel, medium level carbon steel, low carbon steel, or it is any other alloy. But that has been categorized here. Carbon steel IS. So Indian standard codes are also being given for different grades of carbon steels, that is plain carbon steel. That is depending upon the yield stress, or you can say the yield strength. If it is varying from 38 to 450 MPa, it is categorized as carbon steel, and the Indian standard code relevant is Indian standard 2062. High strength carbon steel, if it is 480 to 480 to 550 MPa. We will be talking of the higher value because there is a range which is there, because this is the lower range. You can say 350 to 400, as it has been mentioned minimum here. But classification we have to do here is going to be according to the higher value. Thank you, class. We will be discussing beyond it into the next class day after tomorrow. I hope you might have dropped your attendance into the chat window. The attendance is also recording into the video recording.